Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move to game number 2 of the night. This is our second match. Elevate is going to be playing with their full lineup after having 2 Denial members fill in this week. And meanwhile, Epsilon, you saw the news today, Swanee is going to stay in Europe. They had to pick up a sub, and also Royalty seems to be sick today. So they're playing with their 2 new subs, Parasite and YRN Kenny, added to the lineup.
That's interesting as well. When you think about, Epsilon, losing Royalty, he's kind of on that like Western Canadian host or something. So I don't know how big of an effect that has on online, but obviously Epsilon has been struggling a little bit. And then it definitely hurts to lose Swanee, but it's not as if Parasite is going to be a bad pickup at all. So it might be a thing where Epsilon is now going to have that new squad honeymoon pickup type of phase and just come out really hot. And so far in the hard point, at least they're doing just that. They already have a lead 29-4.
Looking at Kenny. Kenny seems to be a BAL player. Maybe he's just using it here for this map. And this is a guy neither you or I had ever heard of coming into tonight's matches.
No, Kenny, dude, I've been on the Kenny grind for a while. I think he used to go under the gamer tag Quavo Kenny. Assuming this is the same guy, I had Paradox actually tweeted at me and told me he was going to be playing. So assuming this is him, this is a guy that I've seen in game battles tournaments and a few 1Ks. He was also at UMG Dallas, and like as you said, he's a BAL player.
This is
dude
Quavo Kenny. I just got confirmation. So you do know this guy.
Yeah, I do know this guy, and again, you're right. He is a BAL player, and the dude can put up serious numbers. Now, obviously, I haven't seen him going against, like, an actual full pro team, so it might be a different story here, but I'm definitely, at the very least, going to be interested to seeing how he performs.
Ooh, almost got the 3-piece there is Kenny. Meanwhile, Remy making his way from underground. The top still being held by Elevate, and back and forth, second hard point. What do you think of the addition of Parasite to this lineup, though, for Epsilon? Because I was talking to Benson today. He disagreed with me. I said this might be the best thing that could happen to Epsilon. They didn't really have a emotional, vocal leader for the squad. You know what you're going to get with Parasite. Love it or hate it, he's definitely going to be talking a lot more than I think you saw Swanee do on this squad.
It's going to be very, very interesting. Now, you try and think of a player to fill kind of the role that Swally provides, and Parasite isn't the first guy that comes to mind. Like, Swanee is that lockdown BAL kind of player, and Parasite, now, he's a man of many trades, but doesn't quite have that same fit. But at the same time, it clearly wasn't really working for Epsilon either. So maybe, again, you might be correct. Parasite might be that trade they need. Not only a vocal leader, but maybe he helps make their S&D game get ridiculous strong, or maybe he can even kind of coach the remaining players. Like, you never know. It might turn into a thing where Parasite ends up like, it doesn't work out. People say he burns the bridge, whatever. Or maybe this is just going to be like Parasite's niche. Remains to be seen.
And I've noticed that Parasite is sticking with the SMG quite a bit. He's going with the ASM-1. Nagathen has been sticking with the BAL for the most of this first half. Same thing with Kenny. So may see a little bit of a change in the team dynamic as Nagathen becomes more AR focused once again. For now, though, on board with Parasite. Let's see if they can break the setup from Elevate. Still holding on to a lead is Epsilon, but that's going to deteriorate unless they can break through.
Yeah, Elevate's heating up just a little bit. I think Classic just went on like a 5 streak, and Slack, very slow start out of him, but looking for him to potentially turn it around as well. Kind of similar to what we saw out of the ON-TCM matchup, where it was on Solar, where one team had the lead the entire time, but a really slow start this time coming out of Elevate. So maybe they're going to be able to turn it around, but of course, still working on that now. That is going to be 3 down in favor of Epsilon. Saint's going to be the last player pushing up, and Kenny is going to be there to shut him down. So potentially, the remainder of this scrap time going to be going in favor of Epsilon. Of course, players still going to be pushing over. Baremi's going to pick up 2. Nagathen's get another one. 5 seconds left. Rotation's going over. Epsilon has about a 26-point lead.
And you can see Remy has switched over to that assault rifle. On a nice 5 streak here. Can he break through? One player inside the hill. Sloppy shots. He's going to fall. Parasite goes flying in. He's going to get some help from Nagathen on the back end and Kenny on the front end. Good pinch coming in from this Epsilon lineup. Elevate trying to work their way back into the hill, but so far, solid slang coming out of our bottom-ranked Pro League team.
Yeah, I'm so excited to watch Quavo Kenny. He was able to pick up 2 while he was in the hill, sitting at 20 and 16, leading the lobby in terms of slang. I love when I see these not necessarily unknown guys, but kind of amateur players step up to the plate and really perform well. when they're playing with the top dogs. Of course, Elevate, though, that is going to be 3 down in their favor, trying to pick up the scrap time, which if they get the rest of it, they're going to be right back in this game. You can see they're leaving at least 2 people in the hill at all times. Right now, they have all 3 of their remaining players up. However, Kenny is going to be able to pick up 2, trying to break in. Epsilon still in control, so after the first set of rotations, it is going to be Epsilon up by about 11 points.
Now, I was watching basically all Epsilon players for our first 5 minutes. Time to show some Elevate dominance. Classic, 7 captures already. He's +5, has turned up in the last 2 minutes, was about even before this. You look through the rest of the team, though, slacked a very slow start. 13 and 20 needs to get it going. They're still trailing by about 20 points, but could start to mount that comeback here. But first, it's Kenny causing problems. Still in the middle of the map, finally going to be taken out. The patience from TJ is shining through right now, but still not a whole lot of scoring happening for Elevate.
Yeah, and very consistent game out of pretty much everyone on Epsilon. Obviously, Kenny is leading the lobby, and the remaining of them are kind of either close to negative or Parasite is actually +5 now. He's starting to get a little bit hot, but really Slack to me has been kind of underperforming for Elevate, so he needs to step up for his team and start to turn it around. But of course, it's only a 30-point game right there. Anything can still happen, but of course, those rotations coming into the next still looks like Epsilon's going to have those spawns and control of the hill, actually, but Saints is going to be in there trying to fight it. He's able to pick up one, going to get that second one on Remy as well, trying to work his health back in, but Kenny going to be there to shut him down.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is a Epsilon host. I didn't check it before the map started. And you can see Classic and Slacked with a 3K inside the hard point. Going to clear everyone out. Spawns are flipped now. Elevate with the top spawns, but this garage hard point going to be coming up next. Classic trying to stay alive. Slacked and Saints still fighting for control. Down goes Saints. TJ's going to fall as well. Classic doing a nice job staying up for the squad. And I guess every time I look up, I expect the score to be different, but it just keeps growing in favor of Epsilon. What's happening here, Chance?
Really, they're just getting beat through and through. Again, they're getting outslayed ever so slightly, but they haven't had quite as good as hill pressure. However, though, I will say on that hill, they did a very good job. They were able to get the good spawns at the start, and they were able to flip them with 15 seconds left, which is going to give them the edge over on Garage. But you can see Remy's going to pick up 2, and that's going to shut that down immediately. Of course, Saints was up, but Kenny's going to take him down as well. So Elevate still going to be fighting for that control, but it looks like Epsilon might be just a little bit too strong. And then, of course, Slack, though, going to be able to step up, and he picks up 2. Nagafen's going to get taken down as well by TJ Halley. So Elevate, slow start, but potentially going to be able to start working themselves back in this.
I got to give credit to Remy. He was such a pain there. Slipped by 2 players who ran outside the right side of Garage. Picked up a kill inside, then picked up a second. Got his team all in the hard point as well to back him up before Slacked re-secured for Elevate. But Remy's push individually there kept his team with a 10-point advantage. Now, though, that lead is starting to fall, and you're going to see Elevate should be able to bring this within about 5 as it's going to move to the top of the map. The big fight's about to go down. Let's go over to Saints to see if he can hold.
Yeah, it's going to be a game changer right here. 4-point differential between these 2 teams, only 2 hills left. This is what separates the men from the boys. Of course, Kenny trying to step up for his squad, continuing to do so. Going to be in that hill, trying to lock down Glass Street. Of course, Elevate Slacked is going to be there to shut him down. Elevate's going to be able to break through. Looks like they're going to be able to tie it up here in just a few seconds, potentially take the lead. Elevate, the first lead we've seen from them, I think, the entire game, but they picked about the best time you could possibly do it. Now, Epsilon going to be fighting from the bad spot, see if they can break through. It looks like Remy was able to pick up 2 to at least clear out the hill, just waiting for his teammates to come up and push to get control.
Classic doing a nice job, takes out 2 at the top as well. Saints now back inside. This is a simple team effort coming in out of Elevate, but I want to credit Slacked with the last 2 hardpoint breaks, really. He did it back at Garage, he did it again at the top. Now you see Elevate picking up the final 7 seconds. 57 seconds remain in this game as we go back to the last hardpoint. This is going to be so tough for Epsilon to mount the comeback. 20 points separate, and they're running out of time.
You know, in their favor, though, they do have control of this hill. They're just going to have to pick up all the kills. They did get 4 down in their favor, and Kenny is letting it ride. Of course, TJ Halley showing up. Saints is going to be there. Now Remy going to be the last one in that hill. He's going to jump out to try and pick up kills, but they can't even afford to do that. They have to start milking nearly every single second. Going to come down to this test time. Kenny's going to be able to pick up 1. Going to give control back to Epsilon. They're down by 8. They're going to have plenty of time to do this. They just need to pick up the kills, but all 4 down in favor of Elevate.
TJ and Saints just pushing through and stopping this game. Epsilon cannot mount the comeback now. They're out of time. Elevate steals it in the last minute and a half.
That is just an absolute huge push, and gotta give so much credit for Slack. He was like -8, -9 after the first set of rotations. Really turned around towards the end. I think on the garage hill, TJ Halley went on like a 5 or 6 streak to pick that up, and it was really just like the last 2 or 3 hills. Just a completely huge turnaround by Elevate, proving why they are such a strong team.
Slack started massively negative in the first 5 minutes, as you mentioned, turning it up in the second half. Is going to finish 32-35, 11 captures though, most on the squad. On the other side, fantastic performance from Kenny in his first appearance here in the Pro League. 44-38, that's a 1.16, 12 captures and 4 defense from the new substitute. Epsilon loses game number 1, but they'll be looking to tie things up. When we return, Chance and I are headed to Skyrise. You don't want to miss it.